What's up, you guys? We're back with another video reaction, another tribute to the greats. This one is Kurt Cobain. Now, I feel there is a lot of people from my generation who obviously know Kurt Cobain and what happened to him, but I feel like anybody that was born after the year 2000 have no idea who Kurt Cobain is or Nirvana. I feel like nobody actually knows. None of the younger generation knows about Kurt Cobain or Nirvana. I feel like most of them don't.
Well,
I
they would
know,
if they hear the parents or what, you know what I mean?
yeah,
If
because
they're
I
in the
know our
car or
daughter
whatever.
knows
Yeah.
about Kurt Cobain. But yeah, Kurt Cobain, there's a lot of stuff on him. I wrote down some. I didn't write down everything because there's way too much to go over. And the stuff I did write down is probably going to put this video in like the 18 minutes already. So I can't really go over everything, but I do go over a lot of stuff from him. A lot of the stuff I'm going over is stuff I already knew. Um, but if you guys don't know, that's awesome. You guys are learning something today about Kurt Cobain and keeping his name alive. If you already know this stuff like I do, that's awesome. Um, that's great. If you have more facts you want to talk about, like maybe where you were when it happened, put it in the comment section so I can read it. I love to hear about what people were doing when they found out about Kurt Cobain's passing. I like hearing about it. So if you guys have a where were you moment, put it down in the comment section. If you guys enjoy this, please like, comment, subscribe. Check out all the links down in the description. There you'll find a Buy Me a Coffee where you can make suggestions of your own and help support the channel. Thank you so much to everybody who's been supporting the channel at Buy Me a Coffee. We greatly appreciate you. You guys are amazing. Now, let's get into Kurt Cobain. But first, I want to say the song I picked was Foo Fighters' Let It Die. I did not pick a Nirvana song because I have heard all of Nirvana's songs. So I did not pick a Nirvana song. But I picked a Foo Fighters song that is about the situation. It's about Kurt Cobain, and it's about Dave Grohl's uh, personal anger and frustration about watching someone's downward spiral in life and not being able to do anything to help them. But anyway, I'll get into what the song is about. But first, I'm going to get into Kurt Cobain. Kurt Cobain was an American musician and a songwriter, best known as lead vocalist, guitarist, and primary songwriter of seminal grunge band Nirvana. Through his raw, angst ridden lyrics and anti establishment persona, he defined the Generation X counterculture and remains one of the most iconic figures in rock history. Those are facts. Cobain received a used electric guitar for his 14th birthday and quickly learned to play AC/DC's Back in Black. Though he was a lefty, he often flipped right-handed guitars upside down to play them. I knew that too. I always thought that was interesting that he did that. Um, I don't think there's very many left-handed guitarists that do that, to be honest. But anyway, before settling on the name Nirvana in 1987, the group went through several monikers, including Pencap Chew, Skid Row, and the notably unpolished Fecal Matter.
Don't think so. I'm sorry.
If you had a band named Fecal Matter, I would be worried about performing live because you don't know what they're going to be throwing at you. But I have an idea, and you don't want that. Anywho, he was the vocal advocate for LGBTQ plus rights, feminism, and anti-racism. openly challenging the hyper-masculine culture of the 1980s and 90s rock. He famously told prejudiced fans to stop attending his shows and to stop buying his records. Yes, I know. Kurt Cobain was very anti everything. He was anti everything. Let's just say that. But he was anti racism. He was anti government, anti establishment, a lot of that stuff. Um, that's what he sang a lot about too. But the title of Nirvana's generation defining anthem, we all know the song, came from graffiti left by Kathleen Hanna, the front woman of the punk band Bikini Kill. After a night discussing punk and feminism, she spray painted "Kurt smells like Teen Spirit" on the wall, referring to the brand of women's deodorant worn by Kurt Cobain's then girlfriend, Toby Vale. She wore Teen Spirit, and I thought that was very funny and very clever. Kurt smells like Teen Spirit. And then he came out with the album Smells Like Teen Spirit. Very clever. The Metronic success of Nirvana's 1991 sophomore album Nevermind made Cobain an uncomfortable, reluctant spokesperson for Generation X. He did not want to be that, but he ended up being it. He was anti-spotlight too. He didn't he didn't like being the voice of anything. He was just singing about stuff he believed in. And he did not like being the voice of anything. He was just singing about stuff he didn't like and stuff like that. With their third and final studio album, In Utero, 1993, Cobain deliberately pushed against his commercial sound, enlisting producer Steve Albini to craft an intentionally abrasive and raw record to shed casual listeners. That sounds like Kurt Cobain. That's something he would do, and he did do. Cobain suffered from chronic undiagnosed stomach pain for much of his life. He believed that constantly carrying a heavy guitar on his back exasperated a severe curative of his spine known as scoliosis. I've heard of some people who have scoliosis, and I've heard it is very, very painful sometimes. My fault. I turned to the wrong page. Anyway, in 1992, he married Courtney Love, the frontwoman of the band Hole. They had a daughter named Frances Bean Cobain, whose godparents include REM's frontman Michael Stipe and actress Drew Barrymore. Cobain struggled with severe depression and addiction to a substance I can't say. It starts with an H. If you guys know, you know, but I'm not going to say it. And, where was I? On April 5th, 1994, at only the age of 27, he passed by his own hand at his Seattle home. His passing marked the end of 90s grunge era and remains one of the most defining "where were you" moments in modern music history. He was born February 20th, 1967, and then, like I said, passed April 5th, 1994. Now, that is one of the reasons I said "where were you" moment, because I want to hear some people's "where were you" moment. Now, I know I have a lot of subscribers that were alive in the 90s and remember the 90s like we do. So I know that a lot of you may have a "where were you" moment with Kurt Cobain, and I want to hear about some of them. So please let me know in the comments. Now, Foo Fighters' Let It Die. largely inspired by the tragic demise of Dave Grohl's former Nirvana bandmate Kurt Cobain. That's why I picked this song. I already knew the song was about him because I've listened to this song many times. She hasn't heard the song. So that's another reason I picked it, because I want her to hear this. Dave has described the song as being about feeling completely helpless to someone else's downward spiral. That's what I said earlier. The chorus's desperate cry of "Why do you have to go and let it die?" reflects his lingering anger and sorrow over Cobain's passing and the loss of Nirvana. So he's kind of letting out his anger and frustration about what Kurt Cobain did. Now there's a lot of, they wrote a whole book of conspiracy theories on Kurt Cobain. A whole book. I remember when they wrote that book, it was late 90s. I heard about the book and I was like, I don't want to read that. I don't want to read that. I know how he passed, and I'm just leaving it at that. He suffered from severe depression and an addiction. You combine those two and it's not going to end well. So, anywho, this song is Foo Fighters' Let It Die. And if you pay close attention to the lyrics, you will hear all about Kurt Cobain. He doesn't mention him, though, but you know he's talking about him. Now, I picked the live version. It's live at Veterans Park in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I've gone to Milwaukee before for concerts. It's not terribly far from me. But it's in 2008. So I picked the live version because I've never seen the live version or heard the live version, and I wanted to hear how it sounds. So let's get right into this. Foo Fighters' Let It Die live at Veterans Park. Let's go.
You guys having fun this weekend? You're just getting started, right? You're just kind of getting started.
This weekend?
Heart of gold, but it lost its pride. Beautiful veins and bloodshot eyes. I've seen your face in another life. Why'd you have to go and let it die? Why'd you have to go and let it die? Why'd you have to go and let it die? In too deep and out of time. Why'd you have to go and let it die? A simple man and his blushing bride. Why'd you have to go and let it die? Intravenous, intertwined. Why'd you have to go and let it die? Heart's gone cold, your hands were tied. Why'd you have to go and let it die? Why'd you have to go and let it die? Why'd you have to go and let it die? Why'd you have to go and let it die? Why'd you have to go and let it die? In too deep and out of time. Why'd you have to go and let it die? Wow! Do you ever think of me? You're so considerate. Did you ever think of me? Oh, so considerate. In too deep and nothing died. Why'd you have to go? Let it die. Beautiful face, bloodshot eyes. Why'd you have to go? Let it die. Heart's gone cold in the tide. Why'd you have to go? Let it die. Why'd you have to let this die? Wow! Let this die. Why'd you have to go? Let this die. Why'd you have to go? Let this die. Why'd you have to go? Let it die.
All right, song about Kurt Cobain, Let It Die. He starts the song off by saying Kurt Cobain had a heart of gold. And he also says beautiful veins and bloodshot eyes because he had a heart of gold. So his veins were beautiful, but he had bloodshot eyes because he was on something. But he later says I think he's saying it sarcastically, but he says, "Did you ever think of me?" question mark. And then he said, I think sarcastically, "So considerate." Because I don't think you thought about him or anybody else when he did what he did. That tends to be the case. But yeah, everybody knows I am a big supporter of passing by your own hand awareness. And if you've seen some of my old videos, I've done Chester Bennington, and together we did Chris Cornell. And that's what got Kurt Cobain in my mind. It was because I was thinking of other people who did the same thing. So I wanted to do Kurt Cobain because he is one of the greats. He is gonna forever be remembered by anybody who lived in the 90s. Anybody. They didn't even have to like Nirvana. They know Kurt Cobain. And that, like that said, that's a big "where were you" moment. Now, I also picked the song because she never heard it before. So I want to hear her thoughts on it. What do you think about this song?
I don't. I understand what you're saying about the whole did you not think of anybody else?
Mm-hmm.
He had a wife. He had a daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And so I see what you're saying there, but in their mentality, from what I've heard, it's just that fix, or that they have to get that, and he couldn't take it anymore from what I've heard. And it's very sad. It is, because I hope people can get out of that type of situation,
Yeah.
and then they can look back and be like, man, I was in this dark place, and I went to go get help, and I seeked help, and I could get out of that. Those type of stories, I love to hear. And because you did not take that other route. And I mean, that to me see, you are a stronger person because you chose not to do that.
Yeah, and
And
if anybody's having thoughts like that, okay, just remember that you can call the number 988 on your cell phone, and that is the I don't think I can say the word, but we'll just say crisis lifeline for anybody who's feeling that way. Um, so yeah, just call 988 if you are feeling that way. And but yeah, I think that that's what he's saying in that part when he says, "Did you ever think of me?" I think he's saying that Kurt Cobain, you did not think of anybody else around you. You didn't think about the people that you were hurting. You didn't think about anything else like that. And I think that's what he's saying in the song, because the song is kind of a release of anger and frustration for Dave Grohl, because he was watching this downward spiral of Kurt Cobain and he couldn't do anything about it. He couldn't help him. And back in the 90s, they didn't really have like this hotline stuff that you can call and ask for help or anything like that. There was nothing you could do about it. You either went and saw somebody, and I don't even think there was much medications to help with that. I'm not sure. I don't remember. I was young in the 90s. When in the 90s, in 1990, I was 5. So I was a kid in the 90s and I didn't know about stuff like this. I do now. I've been around it. So if you guys enjoyed this, please like, comment, subscribe. Rest in peace, Kurt Cobain. And I hope you guys all remember who Kurt Cobain is and keep his life spirit alive, because he did have a heart of gold. He did stand up for stuff he believed in, and I appreciate him for that. But anyway, if you guys enjoy this, please like, comment, subscribe. If you want to make suggestions of your own and help support the channel, go to the Buy Me a Coffee link in the description. There you can make suggestions of your own and help support the channel. Thank you, everybody, very much for the support you guys have been giving us. You guys are freaking amazing. And I hope that everybody watching this has a very, very freaking wonderful day. Peace.